everybody. This is Selwyn here from Seljoy Productions, and I'm happy to be here again with another video on Logic Pro for iPad Pro. And the question today is, what does Pro really mean? I mean, Apple keeps hitting us with all of these updates, going back maybe 10 years. They keep adding new feature sets, making things cheaper, more accessible for the average consumer or even the professional to get their hands on some amazing tools to then make something beautiful, make something amazing. So the real question today is, what does Pro really mean? All right, so we're going to dig into that a little bit. And if this is your first time on my channel, I appreciate you guys checking this out. I'm going to share some music, play some tracks, discuss some features, and kind of maybe elevate the conversation around products like this to really get our wheels turning as to how it can be beneficial to you and to me. All right, and I also want to hear your comments, so definitely leave a comment for me. And don't forget to, of course, hit me with some subs, some likes. That will really help my page, my channel, and help me bring more videos to you. All right, so without further ado, this conversation about Pro. Is it about the budget on the amount of equipment that you buy? Is it really about the amount of plugins you have on your device? Or is there something deeper going on in that conversation with a Pro, okay? I want you to think about that as I'm playing a little bit of my track in the background. I'm just gonna add some layers to it. I've been digging around in here and finding some really cool features, and I'll share what I found as I'm unmuting a few things for you so you can check it out with me, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and show you a few things that are happening in my little 16 bar loop. All right, we're gonna do that and dig around here, see what we can find. Here we go. First thing I wanted to add was some percussion. And this is, of course, from the Logic drummer settings from the desktop version of Logic. Some really cool and useful live drummer tracks, or AI drummer tracks, I should say, that can add some layers and some textures to your rhythm section. Yep, so I went ahead and added some live bass on this too. And I've just selected the bass track here just to show you what's going on in there. My channel strip is actually at the bottom. You can see what's going on in the mix at the bottom. I love that, being able to see my EQ. If I want to bring that up, here's a bigger version of what's going on in there. Let's say I wanted to warm it up a little bit. Most engineers like to warm up their bass tracks a little bit around 83 to 85 hertz. Add a little bit of warmth there. But again, I can see exactly what's happening on my track. Here's my bass amp designer. I really like this. It looks very simple, but it's very capable. I'm going to bring this all the way up here. You can see from the top left, you can see the type of amp stack that you're working with, as well as your EQ, main EQ. There's compression settings right here that you can get to right on the bass track. And of course, you've got your graphic equalizer that you can turn on and make some tweaks to the sound. I'm going to add a little bit of the top end a little bit just to get some brightness out of the bass. And add some mid-range, maybe around 625 hertz. Make it just a little bit more mid-rangey. Down in the bottom left-hand corner, you can see it's got cabinet and microphone positions. So you can emulate this amp being mic'd, and you can move the mic position around in terms of where it would actually be in front of a horn. It's like a virtual emulation of that. I think that's beautiful, and it's all right here in this view right here. It's very cool. Okay, I added a little bit of a lead guitar here. Added some rhythm guitar as well. Now I'm going to show you what's going on in there. So right here in the inspector window, once you have an audio track recorded, you can turn on some very cool features like flex editing. That's something that most of you will know from the desktop version of Logic. Flex editing allows you to analyze the track, quantize it, make some changes to where certain notes fall. And depending on the type of track it is, you'll have different flex settings. So for a guitar track like this, I'm using the polyphonic version because there are multiple notes in a chord. So the algorithm knows how to analyze that track and give me a more complex, more nuanced way to edit this track, quantize it, move the timing around. It's very, very cool what you can do with that. So yeah, flex editing is in Logic Pro for iPad Pro. Is that a professional feature set? You tell me. It's in there. It's in there. I know what you're hearing. I know what you're thinking to yourself. What about some drums? Maybe we need some drums in there. So I went ahead and MIDI'd up my Roland TD17 drum set here. This is our church set. So I went ahead and USB'd that into Logic, and I was able to trigger all of the different pads to the stock Logic drum sounds that are in here. Now, I need to pause this for a second because most of us will know that finding decent drum sounds that are usable in a song is very tricky on the iPad. If you know, you know. So after looking through plugin after plugin, emulator after emulator, some tried to emulate the GarageBand. I think the GarageBand drums were some of the nicest drums on the iPad. And if you wanted to get anything nicer, you would for free, you would have to go to Logic on the desktop and download their library of acoustic drums. The electric drums are great on either platform, but the acoustic sounding drums were kind of cheesy on the iPad side of things, with the exception of GarageBand. So the closest thing I came to finding it, and maybe if you know of some, you can put some in the comments. I would love to explore those along with you and also review those. I'd love to do that. But the best sounding ones would be from Sample Tank, from IK Multimedia. Don't sleep on that app. It's got a ton of samples that are professional sounding samples. And again, it goes back to that question, what is pro? Okay. The tech landscape of things is changing and more things are becoming available. So Logic ported all of those great, warm, thick sounding acoustic drums, and they ported them over into the iPad. And I could not be more excited about that. And so I'm going to bring up just a few of them, and so we can take a listen to that. Yeah, we've got some deep round drums there that we can play with, and I'm going to show you what I did with that. I MIDI'd it right from the brain of the Roland V drum, the TD-17 brain, not for the sounds from the brain now. I'm just sending MIDI signals straight to Logic Pro here, and utilizing the software sounds that are right in Logic Pro. And these are stock sounds. These come with the app. You just need to download all of the acoustic drum samples that they have available. Again, there's at least 15 gigs worth of stuff free that you can just start downloading right away. So here's what I was able to play. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. These samples are clean, nice and well-rounded. And I just pulled up the Drum Designer UI here just to show you where I got to it. As you are in your main view, you highlight your drum track, and then you can go ahead and tap the plugin icon down here at the center at the bottom. Just tap that, and it will bring up your preview of your channel strip and all of the plugins that are loaded there. Here's our Drum Designer. And here you can tune your kit. You can tune the kick drum, the snare, the toms, the hi-hats, and the cymbals. You can change the gain on them. And there are also some percussion patches that you can trigger on a drum pad or keyboard. And of course, those percussion patches have a little sub volume here, a little bus volume here that you can control. And again, when you are in the plugin view, it brings up all of the different plugins that are there loaded, and you can just tab right on over to the next one. And again, this is all MIDI going to one track. So the mix takes place, the drum mix would take place in here. Now, if I wanted to, I could separate this out by MIDI note into separate drum tracks. At least we could do it in Logic for the desktop. Let's see if it's possible to do it here. Okay, I'm seeing some very similar menu options here. So what we're going to do is go down to the bottom one that says Convert. And there it is. You can separate this one track that has all of your MIDI note information. You can separate it out by note. So that means it will create a number of different tracks with all of your drum triggered notes, all of your drum MIDI notes separated out by note, where you can now fine-tune the mix on each one of the tracks that has that MIDI note. Incredible. Again, is this pro? You couldn't do it in GarageBand, and I'm pretty sure you couldn't do it in Cubasis or any of the others. So Is this pro? You tell me. I added some strings in here. I've also included some tracks here with the Moog, Mini Moog Poly D software synth, which I love. And of course, from here, the mix window, you have the ability to go in there, get some extra screen real estate by just collapsing some of those extra windows to the side. Scroll through, start tweaking your plugins at the top, do your panning and your leveling. Now, the question is, what can you do with your stereo out? Go ahead and hit the plus sign up top. And you can go ahead and add any one of your plugins. You can add a limiter. Let's go ahead and add a limiter. From here, you can make it a little bit louder, add a little bit of stress to the track. Yeah, so we just added a substantial amount of gain just to be able to bring this track volume up to where the threshold was hitting. You could see the limiter doing a little bit of work just to clip some of the top end, but this would allow you to at least start doing a pre-master on the track. There's a ton of plugins that you can load there. A linear phase EQ, those of you who know what that is, one of the most discrete forms of EQing. Limiters in there. You guys can go in and really refine your track now that you have a master bus. We didn't have that with GarageBand. So again, is this pro? This is a question that you have to answer. Is it about the amount of money being spent on gear, whether it's hardware or software, or is it about how robust the feature set is in your DAW, or is the level of pro really digging into another conversation. The question is, are you pro? That's the question. Are you pro? A professional can take even limited tools and do something pretty interesting with it, okay? So as I'm going to end the conversation here, but I would love to hear from you guys. Do you think that this software is going to give you pro level tools? Pun intended. Is it going to give you the pro tools to be able to to produce a great sounding track, or to produce something for a client to upload it and sell it in stores? Is this going to give it to you? In my opinion, I believe it does, because it has enough, and I'm still digging through to see what's missing from this iPad version of Logic Pro, because everything that I use on a regular basis in the desktop version, I'm finding it right here in the iPad version, with the exception of multi-screen support and also working off of an external hard drive. Those two things are not currently here. Of course, will I use this exclusively? Probably not, because I spent a good chunk of pro money on some third-party plugins in my desktop version that are simply not in the iPad App Store yet. However, some of the major players have made some amazing new plugins for the iPad version, as well as the desktop version. But here's a pro tip. They're cheaper on the iPad platform. So you going in there to purchase in there, and then bouncing out your audio, dumping over your project into the desktop version, you just saved yourself hundreds of dollars just by simply spending on the iPad platform and then bouncing down your audio, bringing it into your desktop version. I'm telling you, you guys can save a bunch of money doing it that way. Just a tip, okay? You don't have to choose one platform or the other. This is just another tool in your toolbox that you can use to produce some great sounding music. Again, I have some amazing plugins on the iPad from some amazing developers like gospel musicians, of course, Moog, Ravencroft, some of the well-known ones that you guys have heard on other channels as well. But again, just trying to elevate the conversation here. What does pro really mean? Is it the equipment? Is it the budget? Or is it you? Is it you? Is it me? Is it the way we think? Is it the way we create? Is it the tools that we're using? Our ability to arrange and to and also to take a project from here to there. It's not just beat making, it's producing and songwriting. You know, that's, in my opinion, what contributes far more to the pro conversation. All right. But listen, I'm going to play you guys out and leave me some comments. Again, if you enjoyed the video and it was added value to your perspective, to your music, to your playing, or to your producing, please hit me with a sub and a like, and I got some more videos coming your way. All right, take care.